Let me tell you about a story. How we better talk about that law enforcement, a right bunch of clowns. How they wear their badge like a plastic crown. How they stick into a story of which they are now bound. It's a rabbit hole they don't want you to go down. But over in Wisconsin, they're doubling down. See, they framed them once, then they did it again. They did not count on filmmakers making MAM. They thought their lives were safe, all without the ruse. They did not figure on 19 million views. It'll make you shake your head and probably frown. But over in Wisconsin, they're doubling down. I said they'll double down, and they'll triple down. They're headed down a road which they cannot turn around. They walk around like they'll be home free, because they control all the evidence on the local judges and found is the state's AG. But I got some news. It's as plain as day. It doesn't matter what the state or the guilt will say, because we got Kathleen. She's got them in her sight. She's a real life hero, turning wrongs to right. No matter how hard that state's gavel pounds. Over in Wisconsin, they're coming down. I said no matter how hard that state's gavel pounds. Their house of cards isn't coming down. It'll make you shake your head and probably frown. Said over in Wisconsin, they're coming down. Over in Wisconsin, they're coming down. Lemon.
Power off.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. How's everybody today? You guys may be noticing something a little new there behind me. That was sent to me by Jerome over there in Belgium. And let's see here. All right, let me look at the comments here a little bit. Still not seeing. So, got the little gift from Jerome. Let me get out of the way so you can see it. So, got me a Belgian flag, symbol of international support. Hi, Rubber Ducky. Thank you, Angelique. Let's see. Shannon Berry. Is there any new info about Zelner's motion? No, we haven't gotten an answer yet from the appeals court. They haven't made a decision. See, back again in the white vans. I like it when you sing along. Who else sings? I do. I don't know. That's the only song I can play for you guys tonight. I don't know why. I think Stacy's under some kind of construction over on his channel. That was literally the only acoustic video that I was able to find. So I'm not sure why that is, but hopefully he'll get those reactivated soon. I don't think that the appeals court is under any pressure to decide it, other than if they read it. I don't know. I think it would just depends if they read it in time. I don't know. Denise, dang it. It's the wrong person. Somebody that I'm looking for that I'm not finding. All right. Well, we're here today talking about the defamation suit filed by Colburn and Griesback. I just think it's kind of funny, just on the surface a little bit. I mean, to me, it's strange. They're coming at it with this attitude of that Making a Murderer just got it all wrong. Like just completely got it all wrong. I'm gonna kind of go through it a little bit, kind of step by step, but it's just, I don't know. I was reading it, and there was a few things that I had an issue with, and I'll kind of go over those. Even today, people aren't seeing how huge the 1217 motion was. Glad we could be part of the community. Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to obviously all of the Cozy's Wrecking crew. You guys are they're doing stellar work over there. Lucy's doing great work. Everybody in there is doing great work. They're digging through these documents. Lucy and Allie are actually fighting over who's the number one fan of Stacy Seabrook right now. So, which I think is healthy. So, but yeah. So, let's see. Last night's discovery will be part of season 3. That video is doing pretty well. It's getting between 70 and 100 views an hour still. And 24 hours later, it's still pulling that many views an hour. So pretty good. That's pretty, it's not bad. Dr. Pepper break. I need to take a break. People keep saying, so what? She didn't even get the okay yet. LOL, Erekose is brilliant. She needs to set them up first by innocently telling the public. Then, oh, sorry, the bones are not here. Boom, hammer drops. Yeah, absolutely. Zelner is giving lots of content for season 3. Let's see. Let's see here. Make sure to keep that in mind. Hey, Mill Billy. You're craving more drama. That's one thing on this channel I don't crave. Okay. T1's comment's kind of funny, but I'm not going to read it. Imagine Zelner is watching now in a secret dark room going, hee hee hee. Maybe. Possibly. She blew this case against Avery to dust. I mean, for me, her original motion was like just taking a freaking machine gun to the prosecution's case and just Swiss cheesing it. But, obviously we have Judge Angela who is obstructing it clearly. And so she was denying everything. But, we'll have to see what happens in the appeals court, of course. I'm giving a shout out to Cozy Wrecking Crew. Ms. DeBryan, Julie Parker, JB, T1, Lucy Lockwood, Ali Apperson, Travis Williamson, Jamie Hart, Rubber Ducky, Adrian Gonzalez, and Erekose. And there's probably even a couple others there that got left out. But yeah, those are the folks that day in and day out, they're in the Cozy Wrecking Crew chat, and they're researching this case. They're digging for documents. They're doing a lot of work over there. It's great. So, yeah, big hand for all those folks that Denise Rainey just mentioned. And Diana. Let's see. Stacy is great. Keeps getting better and better. Absolutely. Diana is a beast. Kudo with the shout out to the Jose Wrecking Crew. Are you making fun of me, Holly? I'm glad we gave you a nice belated birthday party. Cool. Thumbs up for all the great work. Thank you so much. Cozy, I hate this autocorrect PS. Here we go, folks. Play nice and have fun. Dan, back to work. I gotta go. We'll see you later, Billy. Make friends with the like button. All right, so some people want to get to sleep, so we'll see if we can get through this quickly and make this maybe a 45-minute video. So hi everybody. Hi Denise. Hi Elia. Let's see. Hi Julie. Hello Milk. Thank you T1. Let's see. Erekose, you are the bomb. Always make me laugh. Oh, thank you. International support. Yep. I'm not going to talk about the control question right now because I am trying to keep this limited. I'm trying to keep this tight. I don't want to keep everybody too late. Well, for some things I do. Hey, trust me though, I do love my t-shirts. Trust me. But yeah, for things like this, sometimes it's a serious matter, you know, pretty serious matter. Kind of. Anyway. The state has been fighting to keep Brendan Dassey in, and they will do the same for SA until they are walking out of prison. No news is good news. Topic is Colburn's defamation suit for the night, and keep the topics close to the issue. Absolutely. Thank you, JB. So, you know, obviously we have Michael Griesback stepped down. And I just want to kind of set a little foundation here. We know that Michael Griesback was the DNA, or not the DNA, sorry. He was the DA in Manitowoc County. He stepped down late at the end of last year. He removed, you know, whatever. He quit. He, you know, he resigned. Whatever it was, he, you know, ceased to be Manitowoc County DA, and apparently, as you're going to see in these documents, started his own law firm. I thought he said he went to work for another firm, but clearly from these documents, it's pretty obvious that he started his own firm, so that's interesting. The reason why I think that's interesting, and is something just to think about as we're going through, is think about Michael Griesback. You know, this is, I'll put it this way, this is speculation on my part, but I think it's a pretty educated kind of guess as to what Griesback and his intentions and his motivations are. So let's think about it. He's helping Steve, you know, Avery back in with his 85 case, and he's helping Steve do everything he you know, he's trying to do to you know, right that wrongful conviction. So, and he's real gung ho about it. He's like, you know, trying very hard to, you know, help Avery, you know, Stephen Avery get out. And then they get Stephen Avery out or whatever, and then it's like suddenly he gets the job as Manitowoc County DA. Suddenly, the information about the call Colburn received in 95, that information was not sent to Peg Lautenschlager when she you know, was evaluating what happened with the Stephen Avery case. So Mark Rohrer and Griesback didn't send that information through, and you're going to see that that call mentioned in this paperwork. But the thing is that originally when the investigation was happening and you know, Peg L was investigating it or whatever, they didn't send that information about Colburn taking that call. And then suddenly the day after, 8 years later, the day after Stephen Avery basically gets released from prison and stuff, he writes a statement. I mean, seriously, it's just bizarre. But that wasn't given. That wasn't handed over. So it's like as soon as he became DA, I don't know. It's almost like if he was bucking the system, like he was trying to piss them off, and the way they got him to quiet down was to give him a job as the DA or something. I don't know. That's, like I said, it's pure speculation. But here's the other part of it for me is he stepped down at the end of last year as the Manitowoc County DA, and now here we are about whatever, some months later, and he's now filing this lawsuit for Colburn. Was that an attempt to avoid another conflict of interest, which we know run rampant in Manitowoc County. So that was just another thought I had was him stepping down as DA so that he could do this. And was that an attempt to, avoid a conflict of interest, which we all know is something that gets complained about quite severely with MAM. Will Lacey have to answer for his involvement in the mishandling of the 85 case? Well, Colburn actually didn't really mishandle much in the 85 case. The only thing that attaches Colburn to the 1985 case is that call that he took. And he says he passed it on to the detectives or whatever. And we heard Sheriff Peterson on Dr. Phil, who said, I think it was Dr. Phil, when he said, he was saying that, yeah, they knew about that call or whatever. The detectives heard about it or whatever, but they just essentially didn't do anything about it. Right. So, but like I said, the thing that implicates Colburn is the fact that 8 years later, literally almost the day after Stephen Avery's released, he suddenly remembers that phone call like 8 years ago and then writes a statement. I mean, and you'll see in this document that they try to pass that off as like innocent, like no big deal. And it's just ridiculous. Yeah, he took that call in 95. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then they talk about that. You're going to see they talk about that in this motion and stuff. So why would Colburn spend all the money on a defamation suit when all he's done is lie? Like you would only pursue such a case if you were squeaky clean, and he's not. I agree. I mean, yeah, and that's another side of this. And I don't know if you guys saw, but like Jerry tweeted about this today, and he was like, or yesterday, whatever, he was making tweets about it, and he said basically along the lines of like he was saying, thank you, Colburn and Griesback or whatever. Make sure that when you get all these people in for depositions and everything, it's a real funny tweet. But yeah, read Colburn's lawsuit. He breaks down all of his issues with making a murderer. It's quite comical. We are going to be reading that here in a minute. That a long time, and then to suddenly remember. Yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly it. And let's see here. So let me go ahead and put the documents up, and we'll start going through it. All righty. So this is the filing by the court, and I can no longer see your guys' comments, by the way, while I'm screen sharing this, so I do apologize. Okay, so what we have is this is the complaint, or well, this is the filing, the defamation suit that Colburn is filing. He's filing against Netflix, Chrome Media, Synthesis Films, Laura Ricciardi, Moira Demos, Lisa Nishimura, Adam Del Dio, and Mary Manhart. So these are all the people that they're all like people that edited it. Obviously, Netflix is the one that presented it on Netflix. Chrome Media is another media corporation that was involved with this, and Mary Manhart was one of the editors and stuff like that. So these people were just all involved with the making a murderer, and so that's why they're getting named in this suit. Basically here he's talking about, this first part is about saying that they filed a suit and that you guys, the defendants, have 45 days. Within 45 days of receiving this summons, you need to respond and and it's basically saying that you need to respond in the proper way, and everything. Like there's a very particular way that you have to respond to this, apparently, like as if Netflix and all these people aren't going to go out and get a lawyer, right, to deal with this. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He's just saying it has to be done properly, has to be filed in a certain way, and like I was saying before, Michael Griesback Law Offices. So he started his own firm, right? So that's what he did. So that, I thought that was interesting. So we move down here, obviously, same as before. This is the complaint. This is the defendants. Um, Plaintiff, let's see. The plaintiff Andrew L. Colburn, by his attorneys, Griesback law offices, alleges and states as follows. So I'm going to skip here to number 4, where it says, on October 31st of 2005, 25-year-old freelance photographer Teresa Halbach was brutally murdered at Avery Salvage Yard in rural Manitowoc County, Wisconsin. Overwhelming physical and circumstantial evidence proves that Stephen Avery and his 16-year-old nephew, Brendan Dassey, were the perpetrators of this crime. Neither plaintiff nor other law enforcement officer planted evidence or in any other way attempted to frame Avery or Dassey in Halbach's murder. Separate juries returned guilty verdicts against each of them in 2007, and their convictions remain unreversed after numerous appeals. So that's a very interesting way of looking at it, Michael. Really, seriously. You might have overwhelming physical and circumstantial evidence against Avery, although it's all very sketchy and unconvincing. But you may have overwhelming or considerable sketchy evidence against Avery. But to say that you have it against Brendan, I would almost constitute that a lie. Pretty much, I mean, the only evidence you have against Brendan, Mike, is freaking that ridiculous confession. Right? You remember the on-bank 7 judges? Yeah, remember that? And they were pretty much split, and one of those judges retired suddenly before Brendan's case came to the on-bank. So put it this way, Brendan won twice, and then Schimmel throws a Hail Mary and asks for an on-bank review. It gets granted, and suddenly it goes 4-3 against Brendan. Well, that's not very convincing, Mike. That means there's 8 federal judges that weighed in on Brendan Dassey's case, and they're split. 8 judges, 4-4. The only reason that the on-bank majority, won is because Judge Duffin or Magistrate Duffin wasn't at the on-bank review. He doesn't work at the 7th Circuit Court. But had he been there, it would have been a split, and Brendan would have won. Because you guys understand that? If Brendan would have won, let me put it this way. If it had been 8 judges and it had been a 4-4 split, Brendan would have won by default because he had already won twice before. He had already been granted his habeas relief by Judge Duffin originally, and then that habeas relief was affirmed by the 3-judge panel. So that means twice Brendan was going into the on-bank review off of 2 wins, 2 successful, basically he was successful twice. So if the on-bank review, which it couldn't be because one judge suddenly retired right before, and so it was an odd number. It was 7 judges, and therefore it couldn't be a tie. So I think that's all interesting stuff. But for Michael Griesback to say that there is overwhelming evidence against Brendan, I think is ballsy, and I think it's false. I truly do. I don't think there's overwhelming evidence against Brendan. That's just a ridiculous statement, in my opinion. So yeah, and it's just ridiculous. I just can't believe it. But yeah, so we'll go on now to down here to number 9. And MAM was and continues to be marketed as a nonfiction documentary. Well, that's because it's based on real life events. No disclaimer appears in any of the 10 episodes notifying viewers that the series is anything but an actual and accurate portrayal of events. In news and entertainment media interviews since the program's release, defendants Ricciardi and Demos have repeatedly avowed that they were unbiased and objective in their retelling of events, holding the film out as a nonfiction piece. MAM won 4 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Directing for Nonfiction Programming and Outstanding Writing for Nonfiction Programming. It also won 2017 Cinema Honors Award for Outstanding Achievement in Nonfiction Films made for television. That wasn't... And then here, at no time during, and well, let me put it this way. They're trying to say as if MAM is a fictional documentary or it's like fictional. It's not fictional. You may, Griesback, you may have some issues with how they represented some things, but that doesn't mean it's not, that doesn't mean it's fiction. I mean, anyways, you know, but that's fine. He's a lawyer. He's going to make mountain out of molehills to represent his client. So, you know, hey. At no time during plaintiff's employment at MTSO did he serve as a spokesperson for the department. You know, and this is basically referring to the fact that he is not a public figure, and that's important with these defamation suits, because if he's not a public figure, then that's what makes him like basically able to pursue this. Because he wasn't a public figure, he's therefore not, you know, it's, put it this way, when you are a public figure and something like this happens, you don't really get to say, there's no real you don't get to file a defamation suit really, because you're a public figure. Basically, they expect that it's kind of collateral damage, basically, for a public figure to expect, is basically their view on it. And anyways, that's what number 10's about, is basically just saying that he's not a public figure. It's, you know, something to think about, but it's saying he's not a public figure. So, or he's a limited purpose public figure. And those terms are defined in the defamation law. So it's like I'm saying, it's important. This lawsuit really couldn't work if Colburn was a public figure, because then at that point, the courts would kind of take the attitude of, well, you need to, as a public figure, you need to expect some of this kind of stuff, right? So that's what he's trying to establish, that he's not a public figure. Let's see. Pertinent and significant aspects of MAM are not true as represented and are instead false and defamatory towards plaintiff and others. Material and significant facts known to the defendants were omitted and distorted. Despite overwhelming evidence proving Avery and Dassey's guilt, again, overwhelming evidence, right? And the utter absence of evidence supporting defendants' accusations of police misconduct. Really? Utter absence, Michael? Yeah. Defendants falsely led viewers to the inescapable conclusion that plaintiff and others planted evidence to frame Avery for Halbach's murder. Defendants omitted, distorted, and falsified material and significant facts in an effort to portray plaintiff as a corrupt police officer who planted evidence to frame an innocent man. Defendants did so with actual malice, and in order to make the film more profitable and more successful in the eyes of their peers, sacrificing and defaming the plaintiff's character and reputation in the process. Now, they basically what Michael Griesback ends up ripping them about here in this thing is the fact is their editing, the way that they edited things. That's kind of what he was, you know, getting on him about mostly here. That he felt the editing, you know, the way they edited Colburn's testimony, the way that they edited there was, we'll get to him later, and then the way that the way they had edited things, he's basically pointing out, and he takes, you know, he has an issue with, and he's basically saying that because of the way they edited it, it makes them liars. Basically, I mean, that's paraphrasing, but basically that's what he's saying. You know, there's got to be a certain amount of, you know, interpretation here. I don't know. That's my feeling about it. So, anyways, so we'll move on to, okay, on November 3rd, 2005, in response to Calumet County's request for assistance, plaintiff drove to Avery Salvage Yard and the Zipper residence to investigate Halbach's disappearance. Plaintiff called dispatch to confirm the make, model, and license plate number of the missing person's vehicle, as he had done in hundreds of other cases during his career. Neither plaintiff nor any other police officer had contact with Halbach's vehicle on November 3rd, or at any other time prior to November 5th, when it was discovered at Avery Salvage by a volunteer search party. If that's true, Michael, then why do the investigation documents show that they logged it in they impounded the RAV4 on the 3rd? Why? You're sitting here telling me that no officer had anything to do with this RAV4 on the 3rd. and that it was found by this search party on the 5th. How did these sheriff's departments know that the RAV4 was going to be found on the 5th so that they could enter it into evidence on the 3rd? How did they know that? Your own paperwork. See, and that's another thing, Michael. Sorry if I'm referring to Michael so much, but here's another thing. You know, well, here, we'll move on. We'll come back to it. But basically, I take umbrage at the fact that that they say MAM is completely false, and I think that's a mischaracterization. They may have issues with some small points of it, but mainly, for the most part, MAM is a lot of factual data. I know for one, well, like for instance, MAM got people interested, but if you really think about it, the people that are involved with this now, they're not watching MAM over and over again. No. They're digging into the documents. They're finding the documents, and they're finding all the shady crap that's in the documents that we've all been uncovering for the last 3 years. And now more and more people are seeing those things, seeing that the RAV4 was entered into evidence on the November 3rd, seeing that Stephen Avery was reported as a murder suspect on the 3rd. He was reported to the FBI as a murder suspect on the 3rd. They didn't even find bones until the 8th. How in the hell is he getting entered as a murder suspect on the 3rd? These are issues that create problems. And I guarantee you Michael Griesback doesn't go anywhere near those issues here, but he basically just goes through how they edited the way that they edited the trial testimony, you know, blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on. So it's ridiculous. But anyway. So we go to... Yeah, so he's calling in, like I said, he's calling in this this license plate, and he's saying that so yeah, he's just saying that he was calling it in to confirm the make and model and license plate number, right? If that's the case, and it's just a call to confirm some information that he'd already received, who's the person in the background of the call that says the car's here? Right after the dispatcher says it comes back to Teresa Hallbach. Who is in the background and says the car's here? Explain that one. Because that, to me, is a problem and makes Griesback and Colburn's claim here ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to, you know, why do you need to, if you, I mean, I don't, this, so Wiegert calls Colburn and gives him the information, gives him a license plate number, gives him Teresa Hallbach's name or whatever. So later on in this document, you'll hear where Colburn says something to the effect of he was calling it in because he wanted to help himself remember. You know, because he doesn't have ability to take notes, but yet he had to have taken notes to write down a license plate number from Mark Wiegert, to write down a name. Because, let me put it this way, if he didn't write it down, his memory was just fine. If he didn't write that down and he just called into the dispatch and just rattled all that information off of his head, then he didn't need to call into dispatch to help himself remember. Right? It's ridiculous that's the claim. So we'll see that later on. But that's one thing he tries to say, is that he was calling it in so that he could help himself, like, retain the facts, or retain the information, basically. So it's to me, it's ridiculous. But Colburn's testimony, let me see here. Going to number 15. So a side-by-side comparison of trial transcripts with the episode 5 MAM. So this is where he basically points out where they did some things with the editing that were questionable, I guess, in his eyes, and maybe so. But the thing is that you can't deny is that Colburn did call in this plate. You know, he did call it in, and on the 3rd, and there is somebody in the background saying the car is here right after the dispatcher says it comes back to a Teresa Hallbach. So you clearly hear it on there. You know, that there's somebody there and somebody says cars here or something like that. It's somebody. Who is that person, Colburn? And don't try to tell me it was somebody at dispatch. You know, why would somebody at dispatch, seriously, why would somebody at dispatch need to say the car's here after the dispatcher says it comes back to Teresa Hallback? Why would somebody in dispatch need to say the car's here? Why would they say that? It doesn't make sense. So, you know, you can say what you like about the editing of the filmmakers, Michael, but Colburn has, you know, he has problems here because there's parts of his story don't make sense. They're completely farcical, really. Case in point, the cabinet. Case in point. I rest my case, Your Honor. I'm just kidding. I'm not resting my case yet. But anyway, that the cabinet is absolutely ridiculous. So then we move on to defendants Ricciardi and Demos, in concert with other named defendants, omitted additional trial testimony from plaintiff about routine nature of his call to dispatch. Hold on just a second there, folks. So he's saying the filmmakers basically omitted a trial testimony from the plaintiff to talk about the routine nature of his call to dispatch. Well, like I said, if he calls it in like this all the time, does he always have somebody there in the background saying the car's here when he's just calling it in to verify it? Can we hear other calls from Colburn where he's done that and we can hear somebody in the background saying that? When asked by the prosecutor on redirect examination, Mr. Strang, defense counsel, asked whether or not it was common for you to check up on other agencies, or perhaps I'm misphrasing that. But when you are assisting another agency, do you commonly verify information that's provided by another agency? The plaintiff answered, all the time. I'm just trying to get, you know, a lot of times when you are driving in a car, you can't stop and take notes. So I'm trying to get things in my head. And by calling the dispatch center and running the plate again, it got in my head who the vehicle belonged to and what type of vehicle that plate was associated with. So, yeah. So then I guess somebody just gave him judging by that, he's trying to suggest that all he was given was a license plate number. The other thing is that when we think about the trial testimony, he's sitting here telling us about how the make and model of the vehicle got into his head, right? Because he called it into dispatch. Remember when he's at trial and Dean's asking him? He says, basically says, were you looking at this vehicle? And Colburn says, no. And then Dean says, but you said it was a 99 Toyota. And Colburn comes back with, oh no, I thought she said that, as in the dispatcher. So that to me just makes Colburn completely unreliable. Well, very much unreliable, because he's claiming that he was doing this to get the information in his head, but clearly at trial, he didn't have the information in his head. He didn't even remember that he told the dispatcher it was a 99 Toyota. That would suggest he had more than a, let's say he wasn't standing in front of the RAV4. That would suggest that he had more than just a license plate number from Mark Wiegert. That would suggest that he was given the make and model of the car too, if we're to believe that he wasn't standing in front of the RAV4 when he made this call. Right? I know it's a lot of ifs and whatevers, right? But the point is if he wasn't standing in front of the RAV4, then that means Wiegert had to have given him the make and model. For him to suggest the make and model to the dispatcher if he wasn't looking at the car, right? So it's like, what information is it you're trying to get straight in your head here, Andy? Because you clearly didn't get it very straight. It's just interesting to me. So let's see, 20. In order to enhance the significance of the plaintiff's alleged off-site discovery and subsequent planting of the Hallback vehicle, defendants manipulated Let's see. Manipulated false. Defendants manipulated facts to convince viewers that MTSO officers, possibly including the plaintiff, secreted Avery's blood from a vial still kept in evidence from his wrongful conviction case and planted it in Hallbach's car. Defendants dramatically reenacted the vial's discovery in the clerk's office by accompanying one of Avery's lawyers to the film retrieval of the vial. MEM episode 4 contains a close-up of the vial with a small hole in its rubber stopper while Avery's attorneys rejoice in their gotcha moment. In truth, a hole in the blood vial's rubber stopper is very, yeah. First of all, the hole in the vial was never my issue. Never was. Um, let's see. Defendants manipulated facts and the significance of the blood vial's discovery is part of the overall effort to convince viewers that the plaintiff and other county law enforcement officers framed Avery for murder. So they're at the beginning of 20 here, in order to enhance the significance of the plaintiff's alleged offsite discovery of the subsequent planting of the Hallbach vehicle, right? So if in fact Annie Colburn is innocent and everything, why is there a person coming forward and giving Zelner an affidavit saying that he told Andy Colburn that he saw the RAV4 up by the turnaround by wherever, why is there somebody coming forward giving an affidavit saying that they told Andy about it on the 3rd, right? I mean, it just seems that it keeps coming out more and more that seems to show that exactly what Laura and Moira were suggesting. There's more and more that continues to come out that suggests that it's pretty close to the mark. I mean, Colburn is, he doesn't say a word. Nobody ever explains anything in this. They all just think that if they shut up, it'll all go away. Well, it hasn't gone away. And now there's this. So it's ridiculous. But to get back, one more thing about the hole. So that's also mentioned here, the hole in the blood vial. I've never, ever thought anything about the hole in the blood vial. My issue with that evidence was the fact that the evidence tape was broken and it was resealed with plain ordinary Scotch tape, right? Plain ordinary everyday Scotch tape. And that's what it was resealed with. That's my issue. Because if you open something lawfully, or if you're authorized to open up something, it's a simple matter after you open it. If you did it in an authorized fashion, it's a simple matter to go and get a new evidence tag, put it on there, date it, and it's resealed with evidence tape. To me, the reason why you would reseal it with Scotch tape is because you were trying to seal it up and put it back and hope nobody notices. That's what that suggests to me, being sealed with plain ordinary Scotch tape. So that's just the way I feel about that. That Scotch tape has just always been a huge problem for me. I mean, like I said, if you're lawfully or you're authorized to open up or go into that blood vial or that box or whatever, it's a simple matter to go get a new evidence tag, a new piece of evidence tape to seal it. You don't want to just leave people's blood sitting around in a court, in the clerk's office with where it can be essentially opened by anybody and nobody would know. I mean, all you have to do is peel back the ordinary Scotch tape, right? You just peel that off and you open it up, and then, I mean, once that plain ordinary Scotch tape was put on there, anybody and their brother could access that box and nobody would know, because the evidence tape's broken and it was replaced with ordinary Scotch tape. So that means, that just makes it a wide open mess, in my opinion. So here we go down. Now we're talking about the key, or this section is going to be mainly about the key. Let's see. On November 8th of 2005, 3 days after Hallbach's vehicle was discovered at the salvage yard, plaintiff and MTSO officer James Link, both evidence technicians, were assigned to search Avery's bedroom for evidence more remotely connected to the crime. Okay, including pornographic material. All right. So once again, the only reason I brought number 22 in here is just because of this, again, with the pornographic material. So what is it with this? You know, I can't understand the rhyme and reason with these guys. Pornographic material, like ordinary pornographic material, like, you know, the kind of porn you can buy in a magazine, right? How is that kind of porn damning? But the porn that's on the Dassey computer, no problem. It's fine. I don't get it. How do you make that? I don't know. I don't know how you can make that decision that Avery's, you know, kind of ordinary, average, everyday porn that he had is incriminating, but yet certain other porn, which is kind of way more hardcore than that porn that Steven had, that's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know. That's my issue with that right there. So okay, so now I'm moving into number 26, talking about the telephone call that in 1995 that Colburn received. So in 1994-95, while working as a corrections officer in Manitowoc County Jail, during normal business hours, plaintiff answered a telephone call from a detective in another jurisdiction, Brown County. The detective asked to speak with a Manitowoc County detective about a sexual assault that occurred many years earlier in Manitowoc County. A jail inmate told a fellow inmate that he was responsible for a sexual assault for which another man was convicted. Plaintiff does not believe the caller mentioned the name of the man convicted or the name of the victim in the Manitowoc County assault. If he did, plaintiff was wholly unfamiliar with the names. Okay. So Colburn's saying that he got this call but that they never gave any names. So let's hold off there. If they never gave any names, Andy, then what in the hell possessed you 8 years later to suddenly write a statement about it? How is it Stephen Avery's release reminded you of a call you got in 1995? Right? How did those two things come together? If you weren't given any names, or if you were, as you say, wholly unfamiliar with them. How does that happen? An event 8 years later prompts you to remember that phone call. And it's just a little phone call, right? You get whole kinds of them. You get hundreds of phone calls, right, Andy? Yet this one stuck out for you to write a statement about it 8 years later? And you don't think that looks at all suspect? Are you kidding me? So, what's next? What's next? Are you going to be providing a video of you calling in the plates of the RAV4 standing right in front of it? I mean, good Lord. Anyways. 28. Plaintiff first learned of Avery's wrongful conviction in September of 2003 when Avery was exonerated by DNA testing. At that time, plaintiff recalled that in 94-95, 8 years previously, a telephone call and surmised it may have been related to the Avery case. I mean, are you kidding me? It's like I said, if you're getting hundreds of these, you get hundreds of phone calls and everything, and it all runs together. How is it that an event 8 years later prompts you to remember that one phone call that did happen to be about Stephen Avery? To me, it's just baffling that he's actually saying this crap. At the direction of Sheriff Ken Peterson, plaintiff prepared a written statement memorializing the call as part of Peterson's effort to provide a complete, accurate, and transparent account of the circumstances. Yeah, it would have been nice if you had done it 8 years earlier. Okay, because at that time when that phone call came in, Stephen Avery was in the court, and he was they were testing the fingernail scrapings from Penny Burnson. This call would have been huge for that. His lawyers could have used that huge. I mean, think about how many wrongful convicted years you guys could have, you could have avoided with Stephen Avery had you done the right thing in 95. Not to mention the fact that I know I've heard Peterson say that he remembers that call came in. He remembers the detectives talking about it and all that stuff. So for Colburn and all, for this pathetic story that he was wholly unfamiliar with the names, or that the names were never given to him, I don't believe it. I don't. It's absolute poppycock. So now moving on to number 32. But anyway, I think that 28, let me just say one more thing here, though. I think that 28 is funny because it's like attempting to explain 26, basically where this one here, where he's talking about he wasn't given names, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to like reinforce that. And so that's what I find is really funny here about about 28. So moving on to number 32. So here they go listing the evidence against Avery, but basically saying that the filmmakers left it out and that, or didn't represent it properly, or basically that sort of stuff. So let's go through this little list here. Avery's DNA was located on the hood latch of Hallbach's vehicle. Are you kidding, Mike? Are you kidding, dude? You just put that in there. It may not have been mentioned in MAM, but we all know about it now. Dude, are you kidding? And we all know that there's way too much DNA there. Almost two complete nanograms. That's ballsy, Mike, bringing that up. I gotta say, Hallbach's cell phone camera, PDA computer devices were found in a burn barrel on Avery's property several hours after Hallbach's arrival at the salvage yard. Avery's nephew witnessed Avery carrying a plastic bag. And yeah, Avery's nephew said that because he was prompted and bullied to say that by Fassbender and Wiegert. But yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. If you're going to rely on Brendan's statements, you're on shaky ground. The bullet containing Hallbach's DNA was linked to the specific firearm that hung on the wall over Avery's bed. Well, how exactly did that happen, Mike? How did they link that exactly? Because from what I understand, Manitowoc County and all that, they didn't have the ability to do ballistics testing on 22 caliber rifles in 2007. And they didn't actually get the actual equipment that they would need to do ballistics testing on 22 rifles. They didn't actually get it, I believe, until something like 2011. So how on earth can you say with any kind of definitiveness that bullet is linked to Avery's gun, to the gun that was hanging on his bedroom wall? I don't understand. I don't know how you could do ballistics testing that you didn't even have the equipment to perform. That's just strange. Avery called Hallbach's employer, Auto Trader Magazine, on the day she was murdered and asked them to send a photographer to take a photo of a car he said he was listing for sale in their magazine. Avery asked the receptionist to send the same photographer they sent last time. Hallbach's coworkers stated that she had been somewhat concerned by Avery's approaching her wearing nothing but a towel on at least 2 of her appointments with him. 2 now? You're now saying that it was twice, Michael? Wow. So you are a liar. Okay, right on. There was never a towel incident with Teresa. The towel incident happened with your DOJ agent that was working this route before Teresa. That's where the towel incident happened. Didn't happen with Teresa. And by the way, Teresa, by all counts that I've seen in Queso, Teresa didn't have any problem with Avery. So, and again, a completely false statement by Michael Griesback there. In the early evening after Halbach's appointment, Avery's brother, Earl, observed Avery near his truck and trailer with Avery's snowmobile on top. Earl found it strange that Avery would remove the snowmobile from the trailer and put it in his garage, since Earl's understanding was that Avery was going to take the snowmobile to a dealer and sell it. When asked by police about the Suzuki, Earl Avery stated it had been outside the garage a few days earlier. Avery's accomplice told police that Avery shot Halbach in the garage. Okay, so Avery's accomplice, which would be Brendan, we're once again taking the words of Brendan from his ridiculous confession, and we're banking on that. Are we, Michael? Wow. You're a piece of work, dude. Avery gave several different statements about his interaction with Halbach on the day she was murdered. First, that she was never arrived for her appointment. Second, that she did, but he only saw her through a window in his trailer. Okay, all of these accounts that he's going through right here, all these accounts that differ, are all accounts that are secondhand. They're all hearsay. Okay, that's he's quoting hearsay right here. Okay, when we see Avery speak, whenever we see the words coming directly from Avery, it's always exactly the same. Okay, the only different stories are these other accounts. These secondhand accounts are the only ones that differ from the actual interviews and words that have come out of Avery's mouth. So you have a problem there, Mike, because your hearsay accounts are the only ones that don't line up. Now, if you can show me, which you can't, if you can show me two interviews with Avery where he contradicted himself, maybe you're in business. But I know the accounts you're talking about right here. I know what you're talking about right here. And those accounts are all secondhand hearsay. So not very convincing, in my opinion. Avery has a history of extreme violence and sexual aggression against women, including beating, strangling. So where's the cases? Where's the charges and the criminal complaints that back that up, Mike? Where's it at? How many times has Avery been rightfully imprisoned for rape or strangulation or any of those things? When has that ever happened? Anyway. Okay, so moving on to number 39 here. So the defendants separately and severely failed to mitigate damages by refusing to take notice of critical analysis in the aftermath of MAM's release. Critical analysis, you say, Mike? Critical analysis, you say? Ooh, you shouldn't have said critical analysis. Thorough, careful, and objective analysis by some of the members of the public and a few journalists revealed that the series had badly distorted the facts. I don't think badly distorted the facts. They may have, gotten a few things off or a couple things not quite right, but to say that it was badly distorted, I disagree. Upon information and belief, defendants were aware the critical analysis and could have mitigated the harm to the plaintiff's reputation by admitting their distortions and omissions of fact when the above mentioned articles were published and in the sequel of the original series. So let me get this straight, Mike. You're complaining that you had issues with MAM and the accounts that were given therein, and that you're mad because the filmmakers wouldn't listen to you, wouldn't listen to anybody in Manitowoc, wouldn't change their mind. So you're getting upset about that they wouldn't take you seriously. Well, that's the way we all feel about Manitowoc, Mike. That's exactly how we feel about Manitowoc particularly the sheriff's office. We feel the same exact way. So, I mean, boo-hoo, buddy. Cry me a river. Jeez. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligence even. You're throwing around some words there, Mike. Seriously, let's go back to critical analysis. Let's go back to that real quick. See, it's funny to me that you say critical analysis here, Mike, when you're talking about analyzing MAM. Okay, you're looking at MAM and you're critically analyzing it, right? And we are looking at this investigation and we are critically analyzing the shady evidence in this case. We are critically analyzing it. I know that you've said before, Mike, that if you look at the evidence in this case objectively, then you'll see then Stephen Avery's guilty. Yes, but here's the problem, Mike. Like you, when you're watching MAM and you're, as you say, performing critical analysis, we're doing the same thing with this ridiculous investigation and the evidence involved with it. We're doing the same critical analysis. So, yeah, it's it's just funny how he only sees it from the one side, his side or their side. He doesn't see how it's a two-way street. And think about how Manitowoc, Wisconsin has been obstructing, and now he wants to complain because the filmmakers wouldn't give them the time of day when they were complaining about all this stuff. It's just ridiculous to me. It's like you Manitowoc and the sheriff's department, everybody didn't give a crap about what an entire world thinks. They don't give a damn that an entire world is looking at them wanting better answers than what we see in these documents. Because trust me personally, and the other YouTubers, most of the other YouTubers out there, they're not posting links. They're not posting bits of MAM, dude. They're posting case documents. I'm posting case documents from the freaking investigation. We're not posting clips of MAM. MAM was just it's just the first stepping stone on the path. It was just something that led to more. I watched MAM and then I hit the documents, and I've been swimming through the documents for 3 years, not watching MAM over and over again. So you need to address what's in the documents, Mike. But that's fine. You're mad at Netflix and you're mad at the filmmakers because they put out this show that got people looking into the case. And when we looked into the case, we found a lot more manifest crap that was being pulled, and it's not acceptable. It's really not. It's really bad. The whole thing's a mess. And this whole thing with Colburn just strikes me crying foul and everything. You know what? Maybe the filmmakers did get a couple things off, or maybe did possibly, use some creative editing in a couple places. But you know what? Manitowoc and the investigators in this investigation are equally guilty, if not more, of doing very similar things. So it's, ridiculous to me. So I wanted to go ahead and do one more thing here before we're done. So let me go ahead and switch back here real quick. Hello. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to read you one other thing here. Now, this is a quote from Zelner. This is a quote from Zelner that was in a recent Rolling Stone article. And I think it's interesting that what she says, because she is basically giving her opinion about Colburn's little defamation suit here. And I find it interesting. So this is what Zelner says. I think it's, like I said, I think it's interesting. So she says, the basic theme of the complaint is flawed. Zelner, who is not named in the suit, tells Rolling Stone. He is going to have to show that. But for these few edits, the world would have viewed Sergeant Colburn differently. I don't think they would have. If the public wanted an unedited version, it could order the trial transcripts. Filmmaking is not stenography, right? Which most of us have done. We've dug into the trial transcripts, the case documents, and everything, right? So we've done that. Zelner refutes Colburn's claim that Demos and Ricciardi's editing was one-sided, telling Rolling Stone that footage which would have further damaged Colburn's credibility also hit the cutting room floor when they edited season 2. We did an experiment with an identical bookcase, which we included in our court filing, that illustrates that Sergeant Colburn's trial testimony regarding how the key fell out of the bookcase and landed on the west side of the bookcase is demonstrably false, Zelner tells Rolling Stone. The Netflix producers chose not to include the experiment in MAM. If they had any malicious motive towards Colburn, that would have been included, right? So that's what I mean. And throughout this statement, Michael Griesback is saying how they willfully and severely and knowingly defamed his client and all that stuff, right? And yet this particular thing, the cabinet, the stuff about the cabinet, hit the cutting room floor. They didn't include it. So where's the malice? Where's the malice with that? I mean, if they were that malicious, they would have included it, right? So, anyways, let's see what's going on here. Hi guys, I'm back looking at the chat here. Hi Scooby. Oh, Scooby, what's up? Missed you, Scooby. Glad to see you. The Hallbox received possible human bones, right? Yes. Corrupted officers of justice do not bring the requested justice for Teresa. It's such a disgusting mantra. Every time I hear it applied to the denial of post-conviction appeals. Absolutely. The whole world is sick of the corrupt Wisconsin, and we will free the boys' people. Power Griesback. What does Griesback have secondhand Kratz crap, right? No bones were ever confirmed to belong to TH. No bone DNA ever tested. Only some purported muscle cut from one fragment. Right. There was some burned flesh on one of the shin bones. And that's what was tested. And so that was what was tested, is that bit of burned flesh. So that's right. The bones have never been tested. So hey Jerome, you like it, buddy? I like it, man. Thank you, Jerome. I love my symbols of international support. So thank you very much, sir. And one fragment tested said could be relative of TH mom, couldn't rule out, but couldn't confirm TH. Right. Subscribe and hit notifications. Yep. Griesback is a lunatic. I agree. Woof. Smash the like button. Yes, everybody, please hit like on there if you found this interesting. Hey Travis, how you doing, buddy? Looks like I missed heaps. You may have, but I'm keeping it short today. So I'm just a little over an hour. I'm about almost at 70 minutes. So we're gonna try and shut this down here within the next 10 minutes. Let's see. They were legally not supposed to release bones back to the family. Right. Anything that could have been used as evidence. If they were to return her remains, if they were TH to the family, they were to petition the court, and so Stephen's attorneys would have a chance to say that they plan to do testing on them or something. So yeah, there should have been, before they handed anything back to the hall box, they should have been asking the court first. And have you ever heard of muscle surviving a blaze that burns the rest to smithereens? Yeah, that is a little bit odd that there was any flesh left at all. I love these live things. When do you have them? I'm gonna come. Scooby, I've been doing them probably every night. Well, sometimes like every other night, but pretty often, really often. Thank you, Amber. Yes, please watch the language. I know. I mean, I don't like to be Mr. Vulgarity police, but I do. It is kind of a big deal to me that my channel has a certain amount of class. It is kind of important to me. So try to limit the vulgarity if you can. I think you need to look at the okay. I've calmed down a bit. What, you mean because I was getting fired up when I was reading that paperwork? Let's see. Big fan, watch all your videos, every one of them. Praying to God that things stay positive for Stephen and Brendan. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, buddy. I pay no attention to Falcon. Is this true? In the U.S., the prosecution has the burden of proof. When a person is convinced they have essentially met their burden of proof, thus it's up to the appeal attorney to provide new evidence, which in yes, the prosecution has the burden of proof. The person is I think you mean convicted. They have essentially met the burden of proof. Yeah, I would say that's true. And then an appeals attorney, it's up to an appeals attorney to try to provide new evidence to undermine that conviction. Yeah, I believe that's essentially correct, Jason M. Has Netflix declared who will be representing them? I don't think so. I don't think so yet. I haven't heard about it yet. Wow, next time don't invite him. Invite me instead. Netflix just needs to show them all these chats from all these videos. Let's see. In turn, allow them to request access to evidence. Great job on YouTube. Thank you, Donna. More praise for Travis. And we do love Travis here. Travis is pretty killer. He's it's great to have his professional opinion about a lot of these things. He's an invaluable resource. Thank you, Julie. I try to keep my passion controlled, though. Very important. Controlled. They don't know what it was. Charred tissue. The problem is that SC says she cut tissue from a bone fragment she couldn't have had because Leisenberg never gave it to her. Someone lied. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, look at Sela. Wait, where's Sela? Sela, what's up, buddy? How's it going? I haven't seen you a whole lot lately, buddy. Been missing you. Hey, man, I'm sorry about that day when I was kind of giving you a little bit of guff about the P.O. box, man. I'm really sorry about that. I'm glad to see you back here, Sela. Erekose reminded me of the scene when Clark Griswold loses his crap at Christmas. I love that scene. Falcon, no, you are uninformed. Please read the pages I provided you. Woohoo, party every night. I've got to get the lazy arse lady back in the program. Let's see. Merry Christmas. Where's the Tylenol? Please let me be a judge that can see how ridiculous AC's claim has. I really pray that Griesback faces sanctions for filing this suit. Yeah, he probably won't, though. Griesback's own books are marketed nonfiction despite factual errors and absurd remarks like Avery may have had everything Avery may have had everything: mattress, carpeting, and furniture encased in plastic wrap. Sue him. Right? Right? Absolutely. I mean, Griesback, yeah, he does. That's not the first time I've, heard people talking about it, that he has some factual, some discrepancies in his books. But, obviously he doesn't care about that. It's only bad when other people do it. No, it's not bad when he does it. Right? No. Be sure to share and tweet this video and tag Michael Griesback just for fun. Let's see here. KK said last night that the garage was cleaned by bleach. Yeah, whatever. This is one classy place for sure, and you look very handsome. Thank you, Scooby. Almost, huh? Dang it. I'll have to work on it. Scooby, they actually show the two pics, and apparently Eisenberg and Culhane can magically share the same bind. It's amazing. Can they bring in an expert to analyze the phone call to get someone to determine clearly if the person in the background says the car is here? I don't really need an expert. I can put that video on, I can put my earbuds in, and I can hear it clearly. I don't need an expert to come in and tell me. I don't. I can hear it just fine. I don't know if it's because I have good ears or what, but I don't need an expert to tell me. Now, if you're suggesting that you want an expert to come in so that an affidavit gets filed by an expert, well, then I guess I can see where you're going with that. That probably would be a good thing. But, for me personally, I don't need an expert to tell me what I already know, but it could be a good idea so that this moves forward in the courts, to get an affidavit from an expert stating it. But, clearly it could help. Oh, all right. Legally, the bones have been determined to be hers. I've been all through this with Allie already. No non-human bones were given to the hall box. Thank you, Erekose. I really appreciate it when you read the documents when I can't. Oh, you're welcome. The character limit prevents me from pasting it. If you want to claim to be informed, I'm telling you exactly what to look up on Google. Look, Falcon's just got it. He's going to see it his way, guys. He's just going to see it his way. He's inclined to, make excuses for the prosecution in the state of Wisconsin. It's his choice. Don't waste your time, Julie Parker, just trying to get your attention elsewhere. Falcon can read just like the rest of us. Erekose, I would like to thank you again for all the time and energy you give. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jerome. I appreciate it, buddy. Love the flag, by the way. As I know, he's just being difficult. Let's see. I don't believe nothing about the bones. KK would give you lamb and say it's pork. Make friends with the like button, everyone. Isn't the court proceeding open to the public view, and therefore any court case can be televised, including Colburn's testimony? He perjured himself. It's not okay. The issue that Michael Griesback is raising is not that they used trial footage. His issue is their editing. His issue with them is the way that they edited it. I don't believe that there would have been much of a difference. I believe a lot of people would have still thought Colburn was fishy. Because, well, for instance, the view that video where you hear somebody in the background saying the car's here, that video had 350,000 views after like 4 months. At 4 months after MAM came out, that video had about 3 or 4 months after that video was released, where you hear him saying the car's here, it had about 250,000 views in like 4 months. Okay, so that tells me a lot of people were looking at Colburn no matter what. So if the editing had been different and had followed the outline that Michael Griesback is saying that they should have followed, I don't think it really would have changed much, and neither does Zelner. They showed us last night, Falcon. Yeah, you guys got to stop wasting your time with Falcon. I mean, you guys could talk to Falcon, but I mean, he's just not going to come around. I'm not sure if legally Bones determined to be hers. It is assumed, perhaps, but there are problems with the death certificate also. Absolutely. It has nothing to do with a specific order. State law states they broke the law when they gave those bones to the Halbach family, period. Look it up or remain ignorant. No one here believes you. You know half as much as I do about this case. Legally her bones. They tried a person based on bones being hers. Not sure what that means. Falcon, I think you are simply making up stuff to get attention. Supposedly an autopsy was done, i.e. the bone evidence was reviewed by an MD. Well, that report has never been found, and pathologist was fired for trial. He is an ethical guy. Interesting stuff. Preservation statute, their problem. I have a lot of respect for Falcon going against us all. I have respect for Falcon. I don't agree with his opinions, but I have respect for him. You know? I'm on it, sister. Let's see. Thank you for your efforts and your passion. Thank you, Julie. Did the state's own experts say that the quarry bones are Halbachs? Yeah, thanks, dude. Erekose is the best. Thank you so much, Lucy. Travis, please explain how the bones are legally Teresa's. Emmy signed that autopsy was done. In Wisconsin, this doesn't require an MD, unfortunately. Any idea on time frame until we learn how this new info on bones is going to go? It could come out first thing in the morning, you know? I imagine Zelner's probably going to wait until the last possible moment tomorrow to give the court as much time as possible to issue the stay. And if they don't issue it, then I imagine she'll enter her brief basically just under the wire. She'll get it in just in time. That's basically the way that's what I figure is going to happen. I don't think any legal determination was made. The only evidence in trial was Sherry Culhane. Thank you, Erekose. I love the subject of Colburn. Your passionate commentary was an absolute work of art. Thank you so much. Colburn was functioning in a direct conflict of interest. It had nothing to do with Netflix. Yeah, the conflict of interest. Are you gonna blame that on Netflix too, Mike? You're gonna blame the conflict, ignoring the conflict of interest. You're gonna blame that on Moira and Laura. You know, you're gonna blame everybody else for the investigators' bad decisions. You're like a child. They belong to the states until released under the statute. Never forget the moment I heard him calling the plates. I knew right then he was dirty. Just joined your channel last night. Been watching you for a few weeks, and I think you're awesome. Oh, thank you so much, Rachel. I really had hoped that Falcon was here to learn. Yeah, well, he sees things his way. And when you think about it, when we decide we feel a certain way, it generally takes a considerable amount of stuff to sway us from our opinions. So Falcon is you know, he's developed his opinion, and you know, he's willing to apologize for the state on all these things. That's his right. You know, like I said, I disagree with Falcon, but I admire the fact that he comes in here and is the only one, and he comes in here and he still, you know, is brave and comes in here and tries to argue his side. I admire that. 5 years of the statute can only be released if notice of defendant or defendant is released. What blows my mind is that this Mike guy is on the board of advisors at the Innocence Project. He was, but he's not anymore. I think he's been removed. What stuff have I made up? Falcon just helps me to think harder and strengthen my thoughts. Exactly. He challenges you. That's right. That's what Falcon does. That's why Falcon's here. Well, Falcon doesn't know that's why he's here, but that's why I like having him here, because he challenges all of you. He makes you think about the evidence. He makes you consider it in different ways. It's that's the value of Falcon, and that's why I like having Falcon here. It's why I have respect for Falcon. Even though I don't agree with him, I do have respect for him. Oops, SC's incomplete profile was used just to convince the jury that a piece of muscle cut from the bone belonged to TH. Emmy wasn't called at trial, death cert, nor entered into evidence at trial. I have no respect for intellectual dishonesty. Do you think Colburn files this so he can tell the truth while pretending he was forced to on the stand? It could, you know, I was thinking that possibly that this was like his way of appearing to defend himself, but knowing that when the depositions come, that the entire house of cards was going to fall down. It's possible that could be. But I would say I'm probably not. I would say that's probably not his motivation, but maybe, possibly. Held to the yes, an autopsy in the state of Wisconsin must be done by a licensed MD with specialty in pathology. Oops, I cussed. 126 watching, only 55 likes. Someone hit like. Julie, click on the comment and window will pop up to give you the option to delete. Bones not tested, flesh only maternal test, mitochondrial DNA test, right? New viewer in England, loving what you do. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin Moore. I love all my international supporters, buddy. Travis said that the state's own experts admitted that the quarry bones were human. Did he not? I don't think so, Falcon. I think you're mistaken. Make friends with the like button. State was hold all biological evidence until defendant is released from prison, or notice is sent to the defendant so that his lawyers can respond. Right, basically. So hit thumbs up, everybody. Awesome, Falcon. And I'm glad you're here to learn, because you're causing my subscribers you're challenging them, and you're causing them to learn as well. So thank you for that, Falcon. So not state is going to have to tell the family they need to be dug up. So now the state is going to be telling the family, yeah, absolutely. JB, sure about what? I'm sure about everything I say here. I've been on this case a long time. Scooby has been on this case a long time. Scooby used to be a big deal on Reddit. And I think Scooby's still on Reddit a little bit, but Scooby used to be a big deal on Reddit some time back. I'm not a legal beagle, but my gut says this lawsuit gives them an excuse not to talk before trial. They're now legally unavailable to talk about the case. That could be. Falcons being a distraction. I'm not used to that. Let me see. Thank you, Denise. Erekose keeping me up late tonight. You know, that's what I like to do. I like to keep you all up. Falcon, I'm here to learn as well. Maybe the lady will show up here next time. I'd love it. I'd love it. FBI told states bones should be refrigerated or frozen. Told state bones. Oh, really? Interesting. 1/15/2016, Griesback said, NTSO used some really bad judgment, in retrospect especially, but even at the time. They should have entirely removed themselves from anything having to do with this case. And that's true. And you know, they keep wanting to blame Netflix. They keep wanting to blame the filmmakers. They keep wanting to blame everybody but themselves, right? Let's think about people in our lives that do that. What are the people in our lives that tend to do that? That tend to not want to own up to the things that they've done and want to constantly blame other people, that it was somebody else. Children. That's what children do, right? So, anyway. I agree, Erekose. The editing doesn't matter. It's presented as an artistic piece, regardless of the documentary. KZ is guessing at answers to find the truth. If you can't see that, you're prob Falcon. If you can't see that, you're prob Falcon. You learn from New York John. You stated so previously. Travis, did they send that notice to SA? And this comes right after the discovery of the battery. Sketchy. Yeah, I mean, it's just more things keep coming out. Like Stacy says, everything about this case keeps getting stranger and stranger. Yeah, it just keeps getting stranger. It just keeps getting more wacky and wild. Okay, read my exchange with Travis in the comments in the last video. Yes, Travis, you nailed that one. Do you think Colburn filed this so he can tell the truth while pretending he was forced to do? Yeah, I said that before. It's a possibility. I'll acknowledge it as a possibility, but probably not. I'd say the probabilities of it are low. Emmy in Calumet County is a nurse. They cannot do an autopsy, so they send the bodies out for autopsies. He checked the box, but no report has been found. Maybe not his motivation, but he still is trying to get ahead of it. I really hope that his motivation, maybe not, but I hope so. Do you think anything in the Mott? Do you think anything in the Mott? I don't know, Julie. Thank you. It's irritating to hear distracting nonsense when we try to learn here. Well, I sympathize, Joseph, but I really feel like Falcon challenges us. And oftentimes he challenges us and we look in deeper and we become more convinced of the way that we feel and the way that we have analyzed the case. But I think it's a very useful thing to have somebody who doesn't share your opinion challenging you. It's just the way I feel, because it causes you to go back and dig a little deeper and learn a little bit more, and it causes you to improve yourself. And that's one thing that's pretty much the main reason why I like having somebody in here who doesn't feel the way we do, because then they effectively challenge us and cause us to become more solid in our beliefs. I watched and read, just rarely comment. Been a subscriber for a long time. Love this channel. Thank you, Sherry. Alien theory is possible too. We have done extensive research on the death certificate. The medical examiner who signed it was on the scene. He has been an Emmy for 33 years. Travis Williams, ideally Emmys and MDs, but in rural areas, they sometimes can't get one or afford one. They don't have a lot of murders, so bodies are sent to another county. Do you think anything in the motion filed tomorrow might surprise you? Good question. I think maybe. I'll say maybe. Maybe there might be something there to surprise me. Hulk smash the like button. Let's see. Colburn is a coward and a follower. There's not a shred of integrity in him. That is what the statute states. I thought there was a stay in motion in the motion. No, she was asking for a stay, but the thing is, she was supposed to file tomorrow on Thursday, December 20th. That was her date to file. But this all happened within the last 2 weeks. This new quick DNA testing, she found out about it, got this expert who had been out in California at the wildfires and was identifying bones that were in wildfires with this quick DNA method. But this was all literally in November. So, I mean, Zelner, within the last 2 weeks found out about this and then, filed this motion to hopefully get a stay so that they could get these bones tested. So what we're waiting for, and then this is why I was saying about tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow's the day that she was supposed to file her brief, right? But she's probably going to wait till the absolute final, literally the 11th hour. She's going to wait until the final point where if she waits any longer, she won't be able to file her brief tomorrow. And I think the reason why she'll do that is because it'll give the entire day for the appeals court to possibly read her motion and grant the stay. So I think she's going to wait until the last moment tomorrow. She's going to wait as long as possible, hoping that they will issue the stay. But as of right now, the stay is not happening yet. The appeals court has to make a decision on the motion that she filed a couple days ago in order for a stay to be there. So right now, there's no stay. It's her brief is due tomorrow. But hopefully sometime tomorrow, the appeals court will make a decision on this most recent motion. If that happens, then there will either be a stay or there won't be. So. Yeah, one reason proposed at the Manitowoc County coroner is that she was ethical. Absolutely. I think Michael Kleiser from Calumet County was willing to just do what they said. Yeah, children. So Hallbach's family is not allowed to inter her remains. Falcon, they had all those things. What are you talking about? Family has no right to turn this request down. Well, maybe. I don't know. You got to understand that Hallbachs are not. To me, it's a little bit sketchy to expect the Hallbachs to embrace this. It's just not. It's just not likely. They may not enter order, and she has to file a brief tomorrow. Right. That's what I was just saying. So what Travis is saying here, they may not enter the order, and she will have to file. So that's what I was saying. Tomorrow, she has to file it tomorrow. So like I said, I think she's going to wait until literally the 11th hour, the last probably half hour of the day before the courts close down, and then she'll file it. And by doing that, she will give an entire day for the appeals court to potentially read that motion and possibly grant her stay. But in my mind, I'm pretty sure she's going to wait till literally the final moments that she can possibly wait. That's the way I see it going. What do you think, Travis? Do you think she'll wait until literally the 11th hour tomorrow? Doesn't matter how long he was an ME. MEs are just paper pushers and like this. The autopsy was supposedly done in Madison, Wisconsin. I don't have all my names handy. Hey there, Mr. Capaldi. How's it going, buddy? The Mad Scotsman has joined us, folks. Just as I'm getting ready to sign off, which is funny. Do you see a link in Hangouts? It's okay. Scooby, I'm curious if it's possible if it's possible, it was the start of Carmen's autopsy and then switched to become Teresa's. A bone exam was done by forensic anthropologist, PhD. I just reviewed it again. Travis says that the state's own expert had in her notes that the quarry bones were human. That's in notes, dude. That's not at trial. You understand, Falcon? It's what's argued at trial, right? It's undermining the confidence in the verdict, not undermining the confidence in the medical examiner or the anthropologist's notes. That's not the point here. They're not trying to challenge notes that were never entered in trial, right? You get that, right? They're challenging what was offered at trial, and those notes weren't. Just had a thought. Alcanapata made a claim identical to one playlist made to me in a previous conversation. Identical, claps hands. Why can't we see them both in Hangout video? The link in chat. Hold on. Okay. What is the Hangouts chat and how do I get there? Or is it super secret thing? No, Music Lover, you can get there. Oh, she just wait. Amber, can you post the link for Hangouts, please? Yeah, it's the Hangout is the Hangout chat is starting to become known as Koze's Wrecking Crew. So it's just so you know, Scooby. That's they're doing a lot of work there, and I love it that they're calling themselves the Wrecking Crew. I just think it's absolutely awesome. Much respect for your comments. Thank you for your contributions and your knowledge. To Kayomi. And I do like Kiyomi too. Kiyomi's very nice. There you go. Amber posted the Hangouts link there. That'll get you into the Hangout. This is all part of Casey's strategy to hang up about more bone evidence. She's saying that the court's let's knock it off and get this thing done. She's tired of playing games. Dumos, he signed and filed it. He fulfilled duty. That's fine, but I'm sure what you are asking, JB, that's fine, but I'm not sure what you are asking about the ME. Yes, I'm very familiar with the Wisconsin law, Ari, that it can be confusing for people. I've gone over this a lot of other places. 4:30 p.m. but 4:30 p.m. but a staff attorney will be updating her. Okay, so what Travis is saying, I think right there, is that the courts essentially close at like 5 o'clock. The appeals court will close at like 5 o'clock. So Zelner will have somebody there sitting there at the courthouse who will literally, if the decision on her motion a couple days ago doesn't come through, then they will walk up there at 4:30 and file her motion so that at least that happens. And it could be that the appeals court will then make a decision on the motion, and they will. Maybe Travis can answer this. If she files the motion, Travis, or if she files her brief tomorrow, can the appeals court still make a decision on her motion and stay the basically stay her brief or the briefing basically while they look into the motion that she filed about the quick DNA testing? I guess what I'm saying is do they have the option to grant that motion after she files? I doubt. Well, Scooby, then you need to come into the Hangout and you need to help the Cozy Wrecking Crew. You need to help them, learn and show them what you know. Adding to the pool of knowledge. It always helps. If you got time and you can get in there and take part. Me too, but legally he did what the law states. I fear the Hangout ever since you brought up keeping your camera on. You can shut your camera off in Hangouts. And also, the Hangout isn't always a call. The Hangout is actually a text. It's a chat, basically, where you can text each other, and then occasionally everybody will start a phone call, and you can get in on the phone call so that everybody can talk in real time. But basically, Hangouts is interesting. It's a chat most of the time, a text chat, but obviously there is the ability to make phone calls in it where everybody can talk in real time, which is kind of cool too. When you have something important to talk about, that call feature is very helpful. And like I said, when you're in a call, you can disable your camera so that nobody can see you. If you ever come on my show live, though, you have to show your camera. Erekose, I've learned more about the case from watching you and your followers since completing MAM documentary. I think you should bring your channel to Netflix. You're welcome, Kiyomi. I doubt you've done it. Let's see here. I fear the Hangout ever since. Yeah. Let's see. They can tell her file, and we will decide testing quickly. Okay, so yeah, okay. So what you're saying, Travis, is yes, she can file her brief tomorrow, and that they could still grant her motion and put a stay on it. Okay, so that's cool. So even if she does file tomorrow, then it's possible that they can still put a stay on it and grant her motion. So that's kind of nice. Let's see. Michael Klesser is a nurse anesthesiologist. I don't care if he was there. He wouldn't know a bone from a stick and can't do an autopsy. Dude, I can tell you that you are not an idiot. I can tell that you are not an idiot. Please read all of it. Not in pieces here and there. Please, dude. Let's see here. It's a freaking phone book. Just tell me where is the passage that supports your assertion. Throw me a bone, for crying out loud. Can anyone go to Hangouts? Yes, anybody that wants to, you can go there. If you click that link, you can go there. Anybody that wants to. Anybody at all. Well, if you get in there and you start talking about how Stephen and Brendan are guilty and all that kind of stuff, you'll probably get booted out. But if you're a real supporter and you actually, then you're welcome. I'll come if I can. I agree. It's a pool of knowledge with lots of people to learn from. I hope to see you. Absolutely. We'd love to see you there, Scooby. You don't have to be there all the time, but if you could pop in every once in a while and we can talk about the bones with you and stuff like that, that would be awesome. So no obligations, but, try to drop in every once in a while. We'd love to see you. Come into Hangouts with just me, and I will talk to you privately. Please refer to Wisconsin laws regarding coroner and medical examiners. Question, please. Has anyone ever changed their mind on Steve and Brendan's innocence after being told something by a guilter? Oh, Mr. Capaldi. I love it, Mr. Capaldi. Scooby, he declared it homicide, which he can do, and file it. It was filed and admitted at prelim hearing, not even admitted at trial. I hear what you are saying. It's a non-issue, they proved. There's other platforms at Teresa. But what are we going to do when Hangouts is gone? I don't know. What do you mean? What do you mean Hangouts is gone? I don't think Hangouts is going anywhere. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, folks. Like the video. The Cozy Wrecking Crew is very welcoming, and we look forward to learning from you. Absolutely, Scoobs. See, all my Wrecking Crew, they already like you. They're already welcoming you. And bring Scooby snacks. Yeah. Yeah, that's Travis's cue. He wants you to bring sweaty balls. Those are the. I don't know if you watched my video last night. He showed everybody his. They're basically cookies. But anyway. My link takes me to Safari. I downloaded the app, but need the group. Okay, so the group you're looking for is Avery // Dassy Hangout. Yeah. Okay, this is a question I've been asking since I got here, and the resounding answer has been yes. When Stephen will be free from prison, will they charge Kratz? Probably not. Prosecutors never get in trouble, barely ever. Hangouts may close in 2020 at Erekose, but they've said that before. Oh, okay. Well, if they close that, there's plenty of other places that we can set up somewhere, that we can set up to go. So there's lots of places. There's all kinds of chat apps and apps where you can do calls with people. So Hangouts isn't the only game in town. So good night, Letha. Article 13 is going to cause a lot of issues. YouTube and other social media platforms. Oh yeah, but that's in the UK though, isn't it? I thought that only pertained to the UK. You say no one has answered you, but you're ignoring the answer. It does not equal no one having answered. Gonna call it a night all. Thank you. Okay. Good night, Letha. Okay. Let's see if I've oh well, I don't know where Stacy is, unfortunately. So I don't have any other songs to play us out. Sorry. I can play the same one again if you want. So that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. Obviously, I don't know. Be interesting to see what's going to happen with this defamation lawsuit. I think it's going to get interesting when depositions start happening, because you know that the lawyers that Netflix and the filmmakers are going to hire, they're going to be, pretty sharp. They're going to be pretty good at what they do, I imagine. So it's going to be interesting to hear about the depositions that are going to happen with this. I am intrigued to find out about that stuff. Oh, you're so welcome, Denise. I looked it up. Mike Griesback is still active at the Innocence Project. He is? I thought I saw something that they were. Huh. Well, okay. You're welcome, Jerome. So we're gonna go ahead and play you out with one Stacy Seabrook song. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so that you get notifications when I go live. You can generally, right now at this point in time, you can pretty much count on the fact that every day you're going to be able to come here and find something. Generally, there may be a day here and there where I don't get anything, I don't put out any content, but generally right now at this point in time, you can pretty much count on finding new content on my channel pretty much every day. So just so everybody knows that, Scooby, you can come and check every day. Most likely you're going to find something. Everybody come into Hangouts. If you love researching and digging into this stuff and helping to research it and everything, come into Hangouts. We got a great group of people there, people that are very, tenacious and just really ready to go at it. So, and we're looking to grow that group all the time. We want, the more people that are pooling their knowledge and digging and bringing things to light is just better for everything. It makes, just makes it better for everything. So with that, we'll go ahead and hand it over to Stacy Seabrook, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, most likely.
Power on. Connection successful.
Let me tell you about a story. How we met her clock bound about that law enforcement. A
Right bunch of clowns. How they wear their badge like a plastic crown. How they're sticking to a story of which they are now bound. Oh, they don't want you to go down. But over in Wisconsin,
they're doubling down. See, they framed them once.
Then they did it again. They did not count on filmmakers making MAM. They thought their lives were safe. All around the room. They did not figure on 19 million views. It'll make you shake your head and pop a frown. But over in Wisconsin, they're doubling down.
I said the double down and the
Triple down.
They're heading down
The road they cannot turn around.
They walk around like they'll be home free. Because they control all the evidence, all the local judges that found in the state's AG.
But I got some news. It's plain as day. It don't matter what the state or the guilters say.
Because we
We got
got
Kathleen. She's got him in her sights. She's a real life hero, turning wrongs to rights. No matter how hard that state's gavel pounds. Over in Wisconsin, they're doubling down.
I said no matter how hard that state's gavel pound, that house of cards isn't coming down. It'll make you shake your head and probably frown. Said over in Wisconsin, they're coming down.
Good night, Scooby.
Over in Wisconsin, they're coming down.
All righty, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. And just want to say it again because I can't say it enough. You guys are all awesome. You're all great. Everybody taking an interest in this. It's just absolutely phenomenal. It's just an inspiration to watch everybody get involved in this and to see everybody's passion. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep being the great people that you are.